If Errol Spence wanted to fight Jeff Horn because Jeff Horn was trash, then why do y'all give Terrence Crawford credit for beating him? Let's talk.
Straighter, not a roundhouse right hand.
And that's what we've been talking about. The straight shot is the one where he gets leverage on it.
I don't want to kill
Pull
somebody
back
for
a little
few
bit.
seconds.
Nah, I want a body on my record.
Now, I want to see you fight motherfuckers. I do. All right, I'm with you. I'm with you. As long as you're trying to fight the great, the best competition.
Welcome to the graveyard. Click the link if you dare to. Bury you alive, I'm prepared to. Welcome to the graveyard. You get your sources from clowns, so when you come around, we don't hear you. Welcome to the graveyard. Click the link if you dare to. Bury you alive, I'm prepared to. Welcome to the graveyard. You get your sources from clowns, so when you come around, we don't hear you. Yo, it's the best, fight the best. If you ain't with the moto, just click the link, bitch, and get buried like the rest. It ain't gonna work how you want it. These trolls already tried, too many come but don't leave. So if you here, you gotta die. I'm spitting straight facts. These bitches crying cause they hate that. The LDBC's the top topic, bitch, hate that. We the ones that bring the truth to these fans. So while you hate, I'ma laugh and keep counting these bands. Welcome to the graveyard. Click the link if you dare to. Bury you alive, I'm prepared to. Welcome to the graveyard. You get your sources from clowns, so when you come around, we don't hear you. Welcome to the graveyard. Click the link if you dare to. Bury you alive, I'm prepared to. Welcome to the graveyard. You get your sources from clowns, so when you come around, we don't hear you.
Welcome to the graveyard.
So I'm constantly hearing every time someone starts talking about Jeff Horn being garbage, right? The rebuttal from Crawford fans is always, well, Errol Spence wanted to fight him. Errol Spence wanted to fight him. Errol Spence was trying to rush to fight him. Errol Spence really wanted to fight. Errol Spence said he was willing to fight him. Errol Spence was going to change his plans to fight Jeff Horn. Errol Spence was going to do this to fight Jeff Horn. You guys are saying all this to me. So you're telling me that Jeff Horn was garbage. So Errol Spence, what you guys are essentially saying is that Errol Spence wanted to fight Jeff Horn because Jeff Horn was trash. Errol Spence don't want to fight Terrence Crawford so fast, but he wanted to fight Jeff Horn real fast. So you're telling me that Jeff Horn was garbage. So then why do y'all give Terrence credit for beating him? You make no sense. And you guys have been saying this to me now for a while. It's just constantly, oh man, well, Errol Spence went, oh, you said Jeff Horn's garbage. Errol Spence went. First off, Errol Spence said he would fight him. Errol Spence was asked, what do you think of Jeff Horn? He said he's food. I will fight him. I'll fight Jeff Horn. That's what he said. He never said that he's going to change his plans to fight Jeff Horn. Never one time. But you guys, the Errol Spence haters, took that as if Errol Spence was saying, well, I'll fight Jeff Horn right now. He never said that. Not one time. Not once. The man was asked a question and he answered. If he was not asked a question, he would have never mentioned Jeff Horn. The one time that they were talking about Jeff Horn prior to Jeff Horn beating Manny Pacquiao was when Jeff Horn was supposed to be the mandatory to Errol Spence for the vacant IBF title. They laughed. They laughed. They clowned. They joked. Like they teased Errol Spence. They said Errol Spence is being protected. When the IBF was going to order Errol Spence to fight Jeff Horn, they said Errol Spence is being protected. They said, oh man, see, this is what's wrong with the sport of boxing. This is what's wrong with the sport of boxing. Oh, man. Al Heyman protecting Errol Spence again, fighting Jeff Horn. Al, come on. Nobody wants to see this. Errol Spence fighting Jeff Horn. This is garbage. Why don't you fight a real fighter? Why isn't Errol Spence fighting one of the real fighters? Why isn't Errol Spence fighting a good competition? That's what was said. That's what was said. They clowned and joked Errol Spence for him about to be forced to fight Jeff Horn. They clowned this man. All kinds of comments calling him a coward and duck because he won't fight Danny or Sean or Keith. But he's a coward. He's a hype job. He hasn't fought nobody. Kell Brook had a broken eye. They said that later on, but before that it was, oh, he's a hype job. He hasn't fought nobody. These guys ain't nobody. He's not fighting Keith. Keith Thurman's the man. Keith Thurman's the man. Why don't he fight Keith Thurman? Why don't he fight Danny Garcia? Why don't he fight Sean Porter? Nobody was saying that Danny Garcia ain't shit. Nobody was saying that Sean Porter is a linebacker. Nah. At all. They were calling Errol Spence a duck and a coward and a fraud and a hype job for not fighting them. They weren't blaming Keith Thurman. Nah, they were saying, man, Keith Thurman got bigger fish to fry. Errol Spence needs to fight his way up. He got to fight his way up. He hasn't beat nobody. He's got to fight his way up. He don't got a belt. But then when Keith Thurman said get a belt, all of a sudden now it's a problem. But Keith Thurman was telling Errol Spence he don't got a belt. You're not the man. I'm the man. I got 2 belts. You don't have a belt. You don't have nothing. I'm the top guy here. I'll fight you. I'll fight you for $10 million. That's what Keith Thurman was saying. But nothing. It was Errol's fault. Because Errol didn't fight him. Because Errol didn't drag him to the ring and fight him. It was Errol's fault. Oh, man, Jeff Horn is garbage. Jeff Horn? You guys kidding me? Jeff Horn? This guy is garbage, man. He's trash. This guy's a bum, man. I can't believe you talk about Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn is garbage. Jeff Horn ain't nothing. Jeff Horn? You're going to fight Jeff Horn? Errol Spence going to fight Jeff Horn? Wow, this dude's trash. I told you he's a hype job, man. Jeff Horn? Jeff Horn is not shit, bro. He's a school teacher. This is fucking crazy. You're going to fight a school teacher? Wow. Why don't you fight the baker, too? Why don't you fight your barber? You're going to fight a school teacher. Which teacher? The gym teacher? The math teacher? The history teacher? Which teacher you going to fight? Clowning this man. Roasting him for a fight that he was going to be ordered to fight. It wasn't like he picked that man. And then as soon as Terrence Crawford fought him, he became the man. He became the man. But you guys know that Jeff Horn wasn't shit. You know he wasn't. You know he wasn't. Because when we start going down this road, when I start giving y'all the business, you resort to saying, well, Errol Spence wanted to fight him too. Yeah, Errol wanted to fight him too, BFTB. You're saying that Jeff Horn is garbage. You're saying Jeff Horn is trash, but Errol Spence wanted to fight him too. And what you don't realize is you are literally agreeing that Jeff Horn is garbage. And then in the same breath, saying that Jeff Horn was the man that beat the man. When Manny Pacquiao was not the man, because Floyd Mayweather never gave him that. Floyd Mayweather never gave him that. As a matter of fact, the man was Floyd Mayweather. And when he retired, the number 1 ranked welterweight in the world was Kell Brook. So Kell Brook was the man. When Floyd beat Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather had 3 belts. The only other belt that was left was Kell Brook's belt, the IBF. That's the only other one. So when Floyd Mayweather vacated all of his titles and started fighting exhibitions, the man was Kell Brook. He was the man. Manny Pacquiao was not the man. Floyd Mayweather beat that dude. He did not get back the man status by beating Tim Bradley and Brandon Rios. You did not get back the man status by beating those two. You already beat Tim Bradley. Brandon Rios has never been nothing. He's just a bigger name than Chris Algieri. That's it. A little bit bigger than Jesse Vargas. That's it, bro. But that's who Pacquiao beat for people to say he's back to his the man status. No, he was not. The man was Floyd Mayweather. And behind Floyd Mayweather was Kell Brook. So when Floyd Mayweather retired, Kell Brook was the #1 ranked welterweight in the world. Numero uno. Behind Kell Brook was Keith Thurman. Behind Keith Thurman was Manny Pacquiao. Behind Manny Pacquiao was Errol Spence. Or flip that. Errol Spence beat the man. Errol Spence. Because the man that beat the man at the welterweight division never happened because Floyd Mayweather retired undefeated. So Jeff Horn was never the man that beat the man. Never. Because the man retired undefeated. But the guy that was left behind him was Kell Brook. So if anybody has a claim on the man that beat the man, it was Errol Spence, who beat the #1 ranked welterweight when Floyd Mayweather hung up his gloves and started to do exhibitions. Facts. Facts. And if you want to say that that Keith Thurman was really the man when Floyd hung him up, that's fine. Well, if Keith Thurman was the man when Floyd Mayweather hung it up, well, Manny Pacquiao beat Keith Thurman. When Manny Pacquiao beat Keith Thurman, he became the man. Ugas fought Manny Pacquiao after Keith Thurman. So Ugas was the man that beat the man. If you want to claim that Thurman was the man, because Thurman has one loss to Manny Pacquiao. After Manny Pacquiao had already lost to Jeff Horn. After Manny Pacquiao had already got back into the division and beat Lucas Matisse for the vacant WBA. Yeah. And then Manny Pacquiao beat Keith Thurman for the WBA Super to unify the WBA regular and WBA Super. And then Ugas beat Manny Pacquiao. So any way you look at it, any way you slice it, any way you sugarcoat it, any way you salt it, the man that beat the man is Errol Spence. Jeff Horn was never that. Jeff Horn was the guy that y'all clowned, y'all disrespected, y'all shitted on and called a bum. He ain't shit. Oh, he's a school teacher. Well, why don't you fight the scuba driver next? The scuba diver. Why don't you fight him next? Yeah, that's what y'all was saying. Oh, well, if you're going to beat the school teacher, well, next in line is the Uber driver. Or you could just fight the cab driver first. But then mysteriously, when Bud fought him, all of a sudden then he became one of the greatest fighters that ever lived. When Bud fought him, he became the man that beat the man all of a sudden. All of a sudden, out of nowhere. He was never the man that beat the man. Never. He was picked to be knocked out by Manny Pacquiao. That's why he was picked. Manny Pacquiao fought Jeff Horn in a voluntary. He went to Australia to fight this man. It was damn near like an exhibition fight. And it was an exhibition gone wrong. Manny Pacquiao was not the man. Kell Brook was the man. And if it wasn't Kell Brook, it was Keith Thurman. So if it was Keith Thurman, then it became Ugas. And in both directions, Errol Spence is the man that beat the man. And you guys are running around here talking about, well, Errol Spence wanted to fight Jeff Horn. Errol Spence wanted to fight. You're admitting that Jeff Horn was a fucking bum. You're admitting that Jeff Horn wasn't shit. You're admitting that Jeff Horn was lower competition than Danny Garcia. You are admitting that Jeff Horn was lower competition than Keith Thurman. You're admitting that Jeff Horn was lower competition than Errol Spence. You're admitting that. All while saying Terrence Crawford went the easy route or the good business route. Bomac said he went the easy route. You guys said he went the good business route, of which he did not. Because he didn't do that at 135. Yeah, he went across the street to fight a matchroom fighter in Ricky Burns instead of an in-house top-ranked fighter in Miguel Vasquez. But y'all don't want to talk about that. It was just good business at welterweight to duck Errol Spence and Danny Garcia. Yeah, it was just good business there, but it wasn't good business at 135. At 135, it's a different story. But at 147, it was good business to fight an in-house fighter because bad business would be to get beat the fuck up by Errol Spence if he became his IBF mandatory. Or to lose to flat-footed, get knocked the fuck out by flat-footed Danny Garcia if you became the WBC mandatory, which you could have did both. You had your pick of the litter. the WBC Mando, the IBF Mando, or the WBO Mando. And you picked, hi, my name is Jeff. I am a school teacher, Jeff. That's who you picked. And then you got your fans saying, well, Errol wanted to fight Jeff Horn too. Errol wanted to fight Jeff Horn too. So you are admitting he was trash. Admitting Jeff Horn wasn't shit. And you don't even realize it that you're doing it. But I do. BFTB. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. And I'm out.